So the end of the month is going to come. Doesn't that sound awesome? So today we want to give you that option, and get excited. Get your notepad out, put down the fork, put down the spoon. Don't choke, but get excited. And we welcome this opportunity. We're really pleased to have the speaker with us today. Enjoy, ask questions, put your emojis up, use the chat, and just sit back, relax, and enjoy that wonderful lunch. If you have extras, let me know in the chat. Hit me up. I'll come to your department and check it out. You know, no pressure. All right. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And it's my pleasure to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Stefan Stout, Business Development Officer with the School of Continuing Education, as he introduces our exciting speaker today. So sit back and enjoy, Mr. Stout. All over to you.
Thank you very much, and welcome everyone. Ms. Romeo is the director and founder of All About Tobago Enterprise Limited, an organization that specializes in training and development. She is a motivational speaker, consultant, and certified facilitator who values dedication, service, and excellence. Ms. Romeo works with individuals and organizations to strengthen their communications, connection, and confidence. She mentors with passion, guiding her clients to effectively strengthen and elevate their leadership and entrepreneurial vision to new heights. With 9 years of impactful corporate training experience, a talent for making meaningful connections, and a passion for helping others maximize their potential, this perspective inspired her to teach, develop, and mentor hundreds of individuals in topics such as leadership, entrepreneurship, development, sustainable revenue streams, and business planning and restructuring, to name a few. Ms. Romeo also supports executive management in preparing financials, and she effectively leads in conducting various workshops, seminars, and entrepreneurial training for companies throughout Trinidad and Tobago. She is passionate about people, leadership, and successful businesses, and is especially inspired to help people take their careers and themselves to unprecedented levels. So we welcome Ms. Romeo this morning as I hand over back to the master to Indra, Ms. Ramru, to introduce our speaker for today. Thank you.
Mr. Romeo, welcome again. The floor is yours. We're excited.
As I am as well. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, NESC team, Ms. Ramru, Mr. Stout. Thank you all for having me here. All right, so the first thing I want to say, this is an informal session. Questions will be asked. So I would like you all to use the raise hand button and the reaction at the top of your screen, right? Because I want to make it as interactive as possible. Entrepreneurship or business management, making money, doubling money, is not like a sit down a chalk and board kind of thing, but it's for more hands-on interaction. Yeah? So the first thing I want to say before I actually enter into the topic is that you're not stuck. I know a lot of people are like, God, I have this one job, I have kids to take care of, I have my bills to pay, I have a mortgage and the house and vehicle, children in school, that kind of thing. You are not stuck. There's always a way out. God is so good. I mean, we came in with a beautiful rendition of Walking in Power. You know, God is amazing. So I really want to start off with that because there is a way out, right? So I will get right into my topic. Just allow me to share the screen. Give me a little time to share the screen. Is the screen being shared? Is everyone seeing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, lovely. So doubling your dollars with a second source of income. What is that? So who wants to, and you can show by the raise of hands, as I said, it's very interactive. Who wants to double their dollars, earn more, have freedom from an 8 to 4, freedom from a 9 to 5, or as some may say, freedom from jail time? Because that's how we look at our work, right? We come 8 o'clock, we have lunch, we leave at 4. Sometimes we have so, yes, Kemba, the webinar. Right. I think Kemba not. Yeah, I didn't meet Kemba. Right. Good. Right. Or some, as I was saying before, some may say freedom from jail time. So we go to work at 8. We probably have a 15 minutes break. We have lunch at 12. Then maybe a little snack at 2, like how we used to do it in primary school, and then we leave at 4. You get kind of tired of it, and then for some persons, you wear uniform like how you used to wear it in school. So it kind of feels like that, yeah, and you're stuck in that mood for years and years and years. So the question is, who wants more time? Who wants more vacation time? Not just 20 days or 30 days or 50 days. Who wants to enjoy more of nature? Anytime in the week you could go out and just relax. Who wants more me time? Away from the hustle and the bustle of life. Who wants to enjoy a hobby of reading or bike riding or just walking, you know? Who wants to sleep more? Like me, I could do with a lot more sleep. Who wants health? Better health? Who wants to study? You know, you probably have your degree and you want to obtain your master's, or you probably have your master's and you want to go for your PhD. Who wants that? Who wants to party lime, you know, have fun? Who wants adventure? Who wants to spend more time with family? Who wants to sit or just lie down and do nothing? How many of you all fall into this category? You can show by the raise of hands. I may not see you, but Ms. Ramos could take notes.
We have 36 hands raised right now.
Whoa.
And I'm sure some of them will be shouting out, me, me, me.
Listen to me, everybody falls into that category. We need more time. So how do we get there? Right, this is it. Really interesting. Yeah, this is how everybody is now. Yeah, I really need this. So who wants that? Well, we have the answer, everybody. Now the big question here is, or the big questions are, how do I do it? How to achieve that dream? How do I get there? And what do I do? That's typical questions that we ask, that we kind of look like brainstorm. This is us here brainstorming for us, for some of us, on a daily basis. I am in this category. How can I make more money? That's me. I'm always looking for a way out to make a little extra dollar, right? So you see me involved in all kind of stuff. So this is some of us here. So what are some of these thoughts in terms of making money? So this is what we think. This is our thought processes. I just gave about 3. So you have some extra cash to invest. I can purchase a vehicle and start a rental car business. Or this is a new thing now for the past 4 or 5 years. Open a TT rideshare business. Listen to me, that thing makes money. I live in Tobago, and whenever I go to Trinidad, I hire TT rideshare to take me wherever I need to go. So that is a big business. Or you want to buy and sell affordable vehicles, and the operative word is affordable, right? Once you know you have good vehicles, once you invest in good vehicles, right, that are affordable, people will buy. That's another idea. Other ideas, now in the area where, you may live or I may live, many persons own CNG vehicles. That is a new thing now. Now, the green economy will soon be the future in 20 years in Trinidad and Tobago. I can see the vision and use it as an opportunity to develop a car parts business specific to this niche. So you're looking for a niche market. Similarly, I can import solar panels and solar parts to accommodate the solar energy drive that will be the future of Trinidad and Tobago. We are in it, right? So Barbados has already gone ahead like long time ago, but we are now talking about it on a regular basis. So this will be the future of Trinidad and Tobago. Do you see yourself having an opportunity in that field? That's the question you need to ask yourself. A friend of mine mentioned to me, I think it was last year, now baby making will never cease. People will always be making babies, right? Mothers love to dress their children for any occasion. I can afford to focus, I can focus on a niche that can afford high-end clothing for my child or children. People will buy into that. You develop an online store, you link with TP Post, or probably have a driver who can drop off your items within a maybe 5-mile radius of where you are. People will buy those things. One thing, we love luxury in Trinidad and Tobago. We love comfort. We love ease of access. So your thought patterns are, what can I really bring to this table here that will help me earn an extra dollar? And don't tell me you don't have time. Trust me, you have time. When you leave work, here what you can do. Let's say by 5:30 you get home. Let's say by 4:15 you leave work. Depending on your location, you may get home by 5, 6 o'clock. You see about your family. If you have family, spend a little time with them, ensure that homework is done. Let's say by 9 o'clock, everybody settles off. Here what? You have to invest in yourself. And this is your business. This is you remembering, this is you wanting to double your income, right? So you gotta have a little sacrifice there. You can spend a few hours, 1 or 2 hours extra in the night, maybe after 9, or if not after 9, you can wake early in the morning, like about 3 o'clock, and start to plan. That's what you start doing, right? So that in that way, what you are just creating is simply an idea. Ideas are coming to mind in order to make extra money. So you are you are employing your brain, looking for a niche that has a need, and you are beginning to form the idea of how to double your money using the business you are already passionate about. Oh, and I want to stress on this part here. You need to be passionate about what you get into. Don't get into something you're not passionate about. If you're not passionate about it, it will fail, right? If not enough months, in a few years, because you don't have the drive for it. So if it is that, for example, COVID happened, let's say you had a business prior COVID happened, okay? It was a business that was bringing in a little money, yeah, but it wasn't your passion. Boom. No sales, no start, you couldn't open for approximately a year and a half. You'll be like, you know what, forget about that. It wasn't something I loved anyway. The flip side to that is it's something that you loved, right? Let's say using a simple thing like baking, right? Baking cookies. If you love the baking, right? COVID happened, yeah. In your mind, COVID nothing, right? you would have find ways even during COVID to get your cookies to your customers. I know of clients that did that. So some people would have been, COVID didn't affect me at all. Actually, COVID helped me increase my profits. Because no other bakeries were around, everybody was calling me. And I was able, of course, all protocols observed, drop off my products to my clients. I had clients who told me about that, right? So one thing in terms of thinking about your business idea is understanding that you will have mishaps, things will happen, right? However, you have to find a default setting in how to come back, because there's always a comeback. Right. So now we're getting into the meat of the matter. How to translate the idea into money. Remembering you want freedom from jail time, right? No more 8 to 4. Can't handle it no more, tired. That's what you're telling yourself. Here is where many persons falter because of their lack of understanding about life and the money game. Because we don't understand money, we don't understand factors, the linking of life to money, it creates a problem. So please permit me to share with you what I've learned from a video that will be shown in a few minutes. But before we show it, allow me to give you a summary of the intro. So here is a sheet of an average income by age. So you see in here, 16 to 19, we have a total of 1.7 million workers who making an income of 22,000. 20 to 24, 9.7 million workers making an income individually of 27,456, and that's yearly, right? 25 to 34, you see in the figure, increasing 29,150, the total number of workers, increasing income, 39,000. 35 to 44, it dip a bit. Something is going on right here. People making a bit less. Sorry, the number of workers is less in this age bracket here. However, the income has increased by a few, like $10,000 to $49,000. Now, 45 to 54, again, there's a decrease in the number of workers, but an increase in that age group to 50,000, a few $100 more. And then we come to 55 to 64, total number of workers declined again, 19,000. 810, sorry. And now there's a dip in how much we are earning, 49,000. This is a common trend throughout the world. 65 plus, hardly anybody working in that group, age group. Dips again, 46,000. This is the normal trend of the average working person, right? When you look at this, you see something is wrong. So it means then, after 50, when people start to cross 45, 50, they're thinking about all kind of stuff, and we get into that as to why there is a decrease here, right? Now let's look at, this is average, right? The average income by age. Let's look at now the top 1% by age. You know, we talk about the top 1% of persons who are making money throughout the world. This is their category. So at 25, their income is 160K. Their net worth is 80. 30, 200,000. Net worth 40, 400,000. 35, 250 income. Net worth $1 million, 1.2. At 40, income, you see it increasing, 320. The net worth, 3.2 mil. 45, 400K, increasing, net worth, 5.2. At 50, increase to 470K, net worth, 7 million. 55, you're noticing the trend. What I'm trying to show you all here is the trend in which things are improving with age, as opposed to the average income earner, where things decrease with age. Now, what would cause that? There are different factors that will hamper that. And this is what is causing us not to be able to double our income. Even though we try, no matter what we do, it can happen, right? So this is really, I just have this little graph here showing the trend that is consistent throughout life. 12, 16, 24, you see a slight increase, 30, 40, it's starting to curve. By 50, the income going down, declining average income, right? So now what I want Hannah to do is pull up a video. I will stop sharing that will explain the reason why this occurs. Some may know it, some may not. So this is me enlightening you, bringing an enlightenment to you in terms of understanding how it is we do not, or we are not able to double our income. And now that we know what may be keeping us back, right, we can actually start to double our income. So I'll stop sharing, and Hannah, you could go ahead.
Results. This mode is constant recreation mode. How many times did you go to school in high school? And there was a kid that was a nerd the year before. Think about it. How many times you went to high school when a kid was a nerd the year before, and then all of a sudden he shows up the next year, he went from nerd to being cool. What happened there? Off season, maybe he decided to get a girlfriend. Off season, maybe he started lifting weights. Off season, maybe he took some boxing classes. And then he comes back walking like this in the 11th grade, like, dude, you were a nerd last year. What happened to you? He recreated himself. But that doesn't happen too often when we get here. We're the same from 40 to 55, 65 years old. You recreate yourself, then again recreate yourself, then again recreate yourself. How many do you have a friend? Maybe you have a friend that you haven't seen for like a year. And you see your friend, and what do you say? I don't recognize this guy. He recreated himself. She recreated herself. If your income earlier, when we said, what's your income this year versus 5 years, 10 years? If that hasn't changed dramatically, and you're 45 watching this, 45, 35, it's about the same. You have not recreated yourself lately. You're pretty much the same person you were 10 years ago. And if you want new results, you got to recreate yourself. It's almost got to be the measurement like this. Thanksgiving, you see your friends and family. You haven't seen them for 6 months. Some of them got to say, I don't recognize you. Your family reunion you go to once a year. I don't recognize you. Christmas, I don't recognize you. School reunion, I don't recognize you. There's got to be a part of recreation in order for your income to double. Number two, this age, lots of peer pressure. Most people hear the word peer pressure and they go automatically negative. For me, when I hear peer pressure, I say you choose to create positive or negative peer pressure. When you have positive peer pressure, it's very difficult. Let me explain to you why. You see, when that peer pressure is somebody doing better than you, in an environment that someone's doing better than you, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick and tired of hearing his name. I can't believe everybody's talking about her. Why is she working out as hard as she is? Why is she going to the gym? Who cares about the diet? Look at his six-pack. Look at his muscles. Look how fast he's doing this. Look how much books he's reading. Look what he's doing. It's positive peer pressure. So you're either going to rise up to the positive peer pressure or you're going to run away. Very simple. You're going to fight or you're going to flight or you're going to freeze. Oh my gosh, I'm not in this league. But one of those three is going to happen to you, right? So when you get older, that peer pressure gets less and less and less. You surround yourself around all the friends that are just warm and fuzzy because you no longer like positive peer pressure. If a friend makes more money than you unknowingly, hear me out, If a friend is way more successful than you and they put too much positive peer pressure, sometimes you push them away and you don't even know you're pushing them away. Let me say it one more time. I'm speaking to you. You may have a friend that kicks your butt, but you're so sick and tired of losing to her or to him that only you know this. You push this friend away, slowly but surely. You don't even know you're doing it, and then all of a sudden your peer pressure goes lower and lower and lower because everybody around you is at your level, and they're no longer putting that peer pressure for you to increase yourself. So what happens? You become the story, and you stay the same. That friend who is competing and trying to improve is not trying to make you feel inferior. He's just trying to recreate himself constantly, and you're done recreating yourself. If you are, that guy's going to go to a whole different level. If you also want to go there, go add some more positive peer pressure in your life. Matter of fact, ask yourself right now, who are the 5 friends that put a lot of peer pressure on you? And that'll tell you a lot about what's taking place. Number 3, this is going to be getting a little confusing, but it's going to make sense to you by the time I'm done. It's going to sound like I'm on shrooms or I'm smoking something, but it'll make sense to you here in a second. Listen to me. As you're here, not a lot of funerals you go to, right? When you're here, you go a lot of birthday parties, graduation, things like that, right? Maybe when you get here, you go to college graduations. Maybe when you get here, you go to some weddings. But when you get to here, you start attending some funerals. And let me tell you what kind of funerals throws people off. The kind of funerals that throws people off is the following. So say a good friend of yours. I had a friend of mine. He passed away. On the day he passed away, he took 50 Vicodins. He died. I took this guy to a rehabilitation center all over the place. He died, but he died because he couldn't drop Vicodin. And that eventually got to him, okay? And it was my best friend in the world, one of the most difficult days of my life. When I got that phone call, I remembered exactly. I was in a black Lincoln Town car with who was in the car, a guy named Jim and another guy. And I was driving, I got the phone call. I cried for 30 minutes, and I was supposed to speak that day at a session in Diamond Bar. I gave that talk. People thought I was angry. My best friend just died. When he died, so many of my friends stopped using drugs because that taught us a lesson. Drugs can really kill you. That was a big factor. What hurts a lot of people and messes with their mind is when someone dies that you were not expecting to die. Let me say this again. A friend who works out and they're in shape, 37 years old, they go to sleep, they have a heart attack, they die. A friend who's 41 years old, in shape, they're fine, they're good, they have an aneurysm and they die. A cousin of yours that's younger that they die, not the car accident, not the ones that you expected, not the person that dies because everybody knew this was kind of going to happen because they had bad drug addictions. When someone dies unexpectedly and you were expecting them to live a long time, here's what happens to people around these ages. Ready? Here's what happens. Oh my gosh. Why am I working so hard? Why am I putting this kind of pressure on me? Babe, what if? And then you sit with your wife or your husband and you're like, babe, maybe we don't need to work that hard, babe. We live only once, babe, and we need to kind of backtrack. And this is too much on the body. It's too stressful. And what if this? And you convince yourself that if you don't go after your dreams, you could die because somebody died in your life, and that puts fear in you, and it immobilizes you, and you'll level out. Now, some people watching this. 2 years ago, we had a presidential campaign. 2 people ran to become a president. One name was Hillary. The other person's name was Donald. They were both 69 years old. And you know who had more stress on their lives than them? Nobody in the world. Every magazine, every newspaper, every news station was bashing them morning till night. That's pressure. Imagine being Donald's kids. You have to constantly hear about all these other names. Imagine being Hillary Clinton's kids. You have to hear about your dad. You have to hear, that's real pressure. You can't go anywhere without somebody saying something to you. They're still running for office. How about the football coaches that are coaching at 69 years old? Pete Carroll. Why is he coaching at 67, 68 years old? Why was John Wooden still coaching? Why are some of these guys putting that kind of pressure on themselves? Because when that event took place in their lives, they didn't pivot and get scared. They said, that happened to him. I'm going to live my life and go to the doctor and get myself checked out. Hopefully I can live a long time, but I'm not going to stress out over dying overnight. Napoleon Hill wrote a book, Think and Grow Rich. Many of you have read it. He talked about the different kinds of fears people have. One is public speaking, all this other stuff. He said there are so many people that are afraid of dying. I had a very, very good friend of mine, and he would always ask me about the fear of dying. He was so scared of dying. And I watched this guy. He was an incredible sales guy. He was incredible at the business. The subtle fear of death, that it went into the spirit, and the mom validated it. Yeah, honey, slow down. Watch the way Patrick's working, slow down. What if this, that? That kid went from being a top performer to playing defense to flat, same income today as he had 20 years ago, 15 years ago, because he got afraid. Something got him. By the way, this doesn't stop there. You know what else happens why people level out? You'll have a friend of yours. They give everything they got to a business. They work so hard. They're doing so good, and then all of a sudden, market crashes, they lose everything. You know what you say? You say, shit, that's the reason why I don't want to start a business. Look what happened to Johnny. He did everything right. He worked so hard. That's why I don't want to start a business. He lost his house. He got a divorce. He got this. We, educated people, when we go to school, we don't need to go out there and go fight that hard, because why chase money? Look at Johnny. Try to chase money. Look what happened to him, and he fell. And you use that one example as your excuse to stay where you're at for the next 30 years. One example. Because one person lost everything, that means that's going to be you. You do that with divorces, all these other things. By the way, when you're 20 years old, you can eat pizza, you don't gain weight, okay? What changes from 20 to 30 is, I just had a conversation with a couple of my employees. When you turn 30, this pops out. So if you start eating pizza, this pops out. When you turn 40, this goes away. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This, touching your toes without bending your knees, flexibility goes away. When you're 50, stamina goes away. So as this is aging and you're building as an entrepreneur, yes, you do got to go get executive health plans done for yourself. You have to go pay $4,000 to have everything being checked out. I just got an angiogram on my heart. They put the dye in my heart and they checked out my arteries because I got to get it checked out. I'm under a lot of pressure as an entrepreneur. I'm an athlete, right? I got my MRI, 45 minutes. I went into that machine with that whole sound you hear MRI. What an annoying sound, right? And I did that to get my brain checked out. Am I good? What's going on over here? All of those things you got to do. But if you sit there afraid of one day bad things happening to you because it's happening to everybody else, you're going to be sitting around 10, 20, 30, 40 years. The best earning years of your life will be gone just because of a couple of your friends went through some mess, and that got you to stop recreating yourself and you stayed the same. Next point, fourth one, compressing time frames. Look, people ask me, Pat, what can I do because I really want to have this lifestyle and I really want to get to this point. I really want to get my dreams to become a reality. I really want to become wealthy. I really want, whatever it is, I really want to whatever, right? But I don't want it to be so slow. I tell them, compress time frames. I learned this a long time ago. I was at a training. A gentleman got up. His name was Rich. He talked about compressing time frames. And I said, what do you mean? He says, can you fit 3 days in 1 day? What does that mean, 3 days in 1 day? If the average person does 15 appointments in 3 days, if you do 15 appointments in 1 day, you're doing the average person's 3 days in 1 day. And if you do that at a 3-year pace, 5-year pace, then what an average person will do in 30 years, you do in 3 years or 5 years. I got that idea. I said, oh my gosh, this is great. Because a lot of people think they work hard because they're at the office 80 hours a week. But doing what? Checking newsfeed, that's not hard work. Checking Instagram, that's not hard work. I'm talking work, on the phones, negotiating. Just this morning, I went from one meeting to the next meeting, to the next meeting, to the next meeting, to my 65 minutes of cardio today, to reading the notes, seeing what's going on in the news, seeing what just took place with Amazon, Alibaba, seeing what's going on with Sears, seeing what's going on with the market being 4% up for the year on the S&P, and then having a hardcore negotiation with a carrier that we have 5 of our people in their town and just trying to go back and forth, try to take this partnership from just a regular business partnership to a real partnership where we can do big things together. That's all today. And I'm trying to get things going, right? If you can figure out a way to condense time frames, you work 3 days in 1 day. Instead of having to work 20 years to get what other people are getting, you'll be able to do it in 3 to 5 years. But that means you got to condense time frames. That means you got to work on Saturdays. That means you got to drop TV. That means you got to drop partying. That means you got to drop some of that stuff to double your income faster. And that idea is condensing time frames. And last but not least, you watch this and you say, Pat, I'm tired. You want me to work 3 days in 1 day? Give me a flipping break. What are you talking about? I don't want to do this. What if in the next 3 years, if you worked efficiently and you compress time frames, you work 3 days in 1 day? What if right now you're making $55,000 your income? What if 3 years from now you get equity in a company because you're working so hard, you become a leader, and all of a sudden the buyout, you get a $1.1 million check. You get a $600,000 check. What if 3 years from now you're all of a sudden making $250,000 your income? What's $250 mean to you, by the way? What if all of a sudden you're making 7 figures? What if some of you that are running big businesses, your business goes from doing 10 million a year to 80 million a year? What if you do that? What if that does take place? What does that mean to your luck? At the end of the day, why an entrepreneur, why an athlete goes at the level they go? Some of these athletes are on the road 8 months out of the year, traveling, training, working out, flying, hotels, not their own house, not their own bed. You know when you sleep in somebody else's bed in a hotel, you don't sleep the same way you do in yours because your mechanism is protective. So you're always like, what is that sound? It's not the same as sleeping in your own bed. Why do people do this? Why do people put their bodies through this? What are they trying to do? At the end of the day, I have 3 kids. I have a 6, a 5, and a 2-year-old. At the end of the day, I have family. At the end of the day, I have certain things I want to fight for. At the end of the day, I have memories that I relive in my mind with my mom, my dad, my sister, Iran, school, Germany, refugee camp, all these memories. At the end of the day, I remember being the kid, afraid, concerned, filled with dreams. What if one day? What if one day? What if one day? What if one day? I don't know if I could do, but what if one day? What if one day? What if one day? At the end of the day, you're not doing this stuff to say, look at the money I made. I'm trying to show off to you. Look at my house. Because if that's the case, you die, you're replaced. A year from now, everybody forgets about you. Go back and look at who was a top boxer 10 years ago. No one remembers them. Go back and look about who the hero. It's not about that. It's about you're going to look back and say, one, my kids are going to realize that their daddy, their mommy, at one thing they became the best at. My mommy and my daddy taught me about character because they took what they do very seriously. They became prolific at what they did in their business, like some like this. Your kid goes to private school. You're there celebrating. Your kid becomes an attorney, a doctor. They become their own business owners. They watch how daddy work. They watch how mommy work. They see how diligent they are. They show the level of respect they have for other people and how they do business because they watched you do it. They realize, man, my dad worked on himself. My mom worked on herself. She wasn't just somebody that was going out there doing all this other stuff. And they realize, that's my mom. They're telling their peers, your kids' peers want to hang out with you. When the day comes when your kid is 35 years old, married, with kids, and as a grandpa, all you want to do is grandkids to be around you. I want my kids to want to bring their grandkids to me. And they're going to one day sit there and say, hey, this Christmas, whose house do you want to go to? I want to go to Papa Patrick's house. I want to melt. They're climbing all over me. We did a video the other day, me looking like I'm 80 years old. I already know what I'm going to look like at 80. And they're climbing all over me. And we're playing. Hey, Grandpa, tell me some stories. I'm pulling pranks on them. I'm joking with them. I'm kind of seeing how they are and just having a blast. And the family stays together. All this stuff you're doing, you're not doing it to say, I'm better than you and all this other stuff. You're doing it because with your time that you have, your 60, 70, 80, 120, 120, whatever your years is, you're going to be able to make the maximum impact you can. So the blood, your people, your family, look at you and say, my dad.
Okay, lovely. So I think we got the gist of it. Thank you so much, Hannah, for sharing. I'll just go back to my slide. Right? So in essence, what we need to do before we even start to double the income, right, is recreate to bring new results. Because of course, if we stay the same, it will be the old results. Peer pressure should be good. Hang with people who can take you places. Do not be afraid of death if somebody dies because of whatever. Like, for example, COVID, which is, well, thank God the numbers are going down, but prior to that, it was terrible. And you would say, oh, well, this person died of COVID, and look, they leave the house, they leave the land. What is the sense? What is the use? No, 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 no. Right? If you want to go somewhere, you can't look at these things, right? Comparing time frames, crunch your time. So in one day, we do all have 24 hours in a day. We really don't need to sleep for an entire 8 hours a day. We can crunch that time and probably sleep like 5 hours and get our business on the road, right? So I hope that you got that, because that was the essence of what I wanted us to get. So basically, we have just begun to scratch the surface of the gold mine of your mind. All About Tobago Enterprise Limited will be collaborating with SOCE, an arm of NESC, in exposing you to more and quality courses for the next quarter. Right? The courses that would be offered includes money rules. We need to understand the rules of money to make money. The blueprint, how we expanded on that idea. Business entrepreneurship and its importance. Once we have these ground rules, trust me, we can begin that journey. We have to get certain things out of the way, like, you throw away the old wine bottle, you're bringing new wine. Basically, that is what it is. So that is all. It was a pleasure, and thank you. Are there any questions in the audience?
Hi, I just want to say this was really validating and inspiring, and congratulations on such a lovely time at lunchtime today. Thank you.
Thank you. It was meant to be that. Any questions? Anybody need any clarity on any area? Any additional comments?
Ms. Romeo, I have a question. So if I have a business idea and I'm ready to double my money, so I have some here, and I'm ready these to turn into blue. So I see you started the process there. What I wanted to ask is if I feel I need some guidance and I want a one-on-one, is that available? Is that something that I can contact you and get some information? Maybe I'm ready to start my business plan, but I feel I want some personalized attention. Is that something that's possible in addition to the programs that will be offered by SOC? I want to move it a little bit faster.
Right, so the one-on-one can move it a little bit faster. So as previously said, I do consultations, right? We do consultations on a one-on-one basis to get you up at a faster rate. That would be done. So I will go a bit more in depth in training you how to register your business. We will go through the steps, the step-by-step steps, because going through registering your business can be a little bit challenging. I would also go through with you your cash flow. Now, see, that area is critical, right? A lot of people don't understand the importance of a business plan and cash flow, the cash flow element of it. So that is one of the areas that I would be focusing on to help take your business at a faster rate and at a different level. Hope that answers your question, Ms. Rainey.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
You're beautiful. Thank you. Yes, Kath? Yes, Kath?
I just have one observation that I made while you were sharing the statistics, and that some piece of information that I felt could be captured from that is the fact that when the persons reach 50, the 1%, that is, their income remained the same, but their net worth increased by leaps and bounds. Whereas the persons who were of the regular income persons, their net worth did not increase. It actually got less as they got older. So I don't know if you want to just say why is it that their income, the 1% income, remained stable, but their net worth increased?
Because they would have made investment at an early age. So the investment was working for them. As they began to age, their value went up. So they would have invested in real estate at an early age, 20, 30. So that's why, for me, I try to tell people, especially if you have kids, right? Start preparing them to earn land, build early, build apartments, that kind of thing. So those are the things that bring in passive income, and those are the things that the 1% would be investing in order for their net worth to go up, but their income kind of remains the same. I hope that answers your question, Kath.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Beautiful. Hannah, I'm seeing your hand up. And then I'm seeing someone else, but I'm not seeing their name.
Hi.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Hi, Ms. Natasha. So what question I asked is that when you start the business, you know that you do not make money as you start. What is the average amount of time that a new business will make money?
That's really dependent upon you, you know. Right? It's not a formula like math is 1 + 1 is 2, right? Because you could have started. I know a few people who started their business in 2019 and did not have a business in 2020. So you see, there are various factors that will affect that, right? So hence the reason why I said there's no real formula to that. What you can do though is probably think of all the mitigating circumstances that you can put in place in event of, right? So I don't know if you would have heard Pat talk about insurance, but it kind of sometimes depends on how large your business is. You can insure your business in event of something happening, right? All those things, all that is mitigating measures.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, I am. Ms. Ram, you could help me here. Who is it that I'm not?
The next person that we have is Esther Richardson.
Esther, hi. How are you? How can I help?
Good afternoon. I just wanted to ask in terms of like for someone who's opening a business, right? You know, there are like 3 categories or 3 types of businesses you can get into as a sole trader, partnership,
Right.
etc. Just wanted to know
More than 3, but I understand what you're coming from.
Yeah. But if you want to start, so I mean, you have a plan to grow and expand your business. Of course, you don't get into business with it. Stay small. So you start off as a sole trader. Is it possible to move in a different category or name, etc., with that same business name, or?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Of course, it has to be registered with registry. So if it is that you're thinking about a partnership, that would be you and another partner or many other partners. The partners will be added onto the name, right? So that kind of just changes it. The name can remain the same, but it's just that it's now a partnership with other person's name as opposed to yours, right? Or with a company you have directors and you have secretaries, that kind of thing. The business name can remain the same, right? But with the added names on the added positions of directors, secretaries, that kind of thing. But through registered general, all that is done to certify the business.
Okay, excellent. So just wondering, and just to stick a note, mentioned, you know, one of the great ways for people to build their network is through, you know, real estate, which I think is something that people really do underestimate. Just wanted to plug in there as well. I'm actually a real estate agent, so for anyone wanting to, you know, jump on the board and actually look at investing in that area and want to find out how you can give me a call.
Well, you could probably put, is it? Yes, good, lovely. Go ahead. You can put it in the chat as well. You can put it in the chat as well. Ms. Ram, that's okay? She can put her number in the chat along with her name.
She can, and we'll also send an invoice for the free ad that she just utilized. No problem. Invoices do come via email, but please, Ms. Richardson, share your information in the chat.
No problem.
Lovely, thank you there. Hannah again? Or Hannah, your hand? Right, Esther, your hand is still up. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot it.
Right. No problem. All right. So is that all for the questions? Does anyone have any other burning questions that they want to ask on this platform? No? Well, I guess that is it. My job for the past hour, almost an hour, is done. I really hope that you all understood in terms of the mindset, because it's a mindset thing, right? You got to change what you thought was. Like, you know how we learned when we finish school, we come out and we get a job and we get a good job and based on the degree and the master's, you get like about $6,000, does not exist anymore. Actually, I don't think it ever did. Actually, in my era, it never did. So I have my master's, I ain't even reached $30,000 yet, right? The way to really double your income, to earn more, is not really the 8 to 4. It is you putting in the work of owning your own. Yes, owning your own. So with that, I will conclude and say thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure. And Mr. Amroop, NESC, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Romeo. At this time, we're really happy to, and we want to thank everyone for joining on. I trust that the information was valuable and that you use it as a springboard to get into training with SOCE and getting to know more and equipping you to start your own business and doubling those dollars and getting that financial freedom. All right. So also, I want to take the opportunity to thank our Marketing and Corporate Communications Department for all their assistance with this webinar and the previous webinar that they would have assisted us with. We are very grateful to Team SOCE for all the hard work you all put in making this event successful and getting all our participants on. I also want to say a special thank you and recognition for members of our executive who were on with us for the webinar today and having lunch with us. We appreciate you all and thank you very much for being here and supporting. And most of all, I want a round of applause to Ms. Natasha Romeo. Excellent presentation. I would have had the opportunity to do a training session with you, and it's nothing short of information and excellence. It's not just information sharing, but it's an enjoyable and relatable session. And Ms. Romeo will be partnering with SOCE for training, the 3 programs that she would have shared. If you are interested in being a part of that, I would have shared our contact information and email address. Reach out to us. We want to be part of that journey to help you double those dollars and financial freedom. Start seeing that BMW in the driveway. Start thinking and expanding your boundaries. It is possible. You have to start with the idea and we will do the rest to equip you to get to that point. So I want to encourage you all to take advantage of this opportunity. The cost of the program, it is going to be extremely affordable. We will be working with persons, so take advantage of this opportunity. We will be advertising soon and launching those programs with Ms. Romeo. So Ms. Romeo, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. And I want you all to know that her network is huge. So once you join one of her sessions and she starts giving you examples and start connecting you with persons that she has interacted with and was able to help, and you could even get an opportunity to see the journey that they were on and where they would have started and how successful they are right now. It's mind-blowing. So don't allow this opportunity to pass you by. Connect with us. Let us hear your ideas. Even after the session, if you want to share your comments and we can share with Ms. Romeo, we're willing to do that. If you would like a copy of the presentation, please just send your email address in the chat and we will make it available for you. So again, thank you all so much. Ms. Romeo, always a pleasure. And thanks for having lunch with us. Have a wonderful afternoon and thank you all again.
Bye everyone. Take care.